Is it time?
Get money, yo.
My man, what's up, brother? Philly Godfather. Give you a call back in a little bit.
East Coast, Philadelphia, born and raised. In the streets is where I spent most of my days. Chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool. Went against my dad's wishes when I dropped out of school. But mom didn't raise no fool, nor a rookie.
Vicious.
My life took a change when I found my first bookie. I'm ditching the streets full of drugs, thugs, and thieves.
We don't normally let it go this long, but it's such a good song.
It is good.
That's why I can finish chewing my peanuts before I bring in.
Well, it's also, I feel it more now because we had some football schedule released last night.
Exactly.
I don't think I ever listened to all the lyrics before. It's really good. Who did this song?
We make mad moves, mad flavor like some tasty cakes.
Why do you have to maintain your Caucasianness on the show? Let's bring in the man himself, the Philly Godfather.
Oh, God, I love this show so much.
I mean, the man is ready to fire. We've got all kinds of odds. We've got point spreads for every NFL game already on the board. We've got totals. And this man, Harry, hits the totals. He dazzled the world last year when he told you college football, pro football, who the hot teams would be, who would be cutting down the nets in the National Football League if they had nets to cut down. The great Philly Godfather.
Yeah, we got some more this year, guys. Obviously, got in a little early with Tampa Bay at 50-1. Now the odds have dropped they're just too low to bet them now. I think they're 10-1 to win it all. They're actually the fourth favorite in the NFL.
Too much hype.
Chiefs at 6-1, Ravens at 7-1, the 49ers at 10-1, and the Buccaneers at 12-1.
Too much hype around the Buccaneers for me.
You think so?
Yeah. They'll make the playoffs, but
they got a great coach, number one, last year.
Yeah, I like the coach.
If you look at the games they lost, and I think I mentioned this before, in the games they lost, Jameis threw 23 interceptions, and the opposing quarterbacks threw just one. Mm-hmm. So now you got Tom Brady in here. You got Gronk. They picked up a great offensive lineman. That guy's a beast. Did you see him jump out of the water?
Oh, the guy from Iowa.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't think that's humanly possible.
I know.
Not even Kirk Ferentz can teach that, man. I mean, you just have to have that in you.
That's just and then they lost 6 games last year by 1 score or less, and 2 of those games went to overtime. Now the one detractor is they stayed pretty healthy. I think they were the second most healthiest team last year when you look at the adjusted games lost stat, which tells you which teams were the most injured. So they were kind of lucky there. But if they can stay healthy, you got Brady, you got Gronk, you got a great offensive weapons. I mean, they got everything there, and now see what happens.
I don't think their schedule out of their division is very tough.
It's really not.
Yeah.
I mean, they start off against New Orleans. If they win that, then they got to play Carolina. They got to go to Denver. Denver's going to be a little better than most people think this year. But then it's the Chargers at Chicago. Who knows who's going to be quarterbacking, by week 5 there.
Right.
Green Bay, I expect them to regress a little bit.
That's
they were a little fugazi last year. Vegas, Giants, and then they come back and play New Orleans again. So if they can come out the gate hot against New Orleans, watch out for Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I mean, they get Green Bay, as you said, the Rams, KC, and Minnesota all at home.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And you talked about some other tough schedules, Harry. We were talking about it earlier.
Oh,
Who has that gauntlet?
Minnesota, I think, got a
Vikings
tough
with their
schedule.
first 4 games, man, coming right out of the.
Well, that's the Houston Texans.
The Houston Texans, that's right. The Houston Texans have 4 really difficult games and might be out of the gate 0-4 if things don't go well. Now they got a great quarterback, and everybody thinks they're terrible. I don't think they're terrible.
No,
they made
they're
some
not terrible.
questionable moves. But what happens? I mean, Bill O'Brien, I don't know if they have the odds yet on who the first coach on the hot seat will be, and I'm sure there will be very soon, right?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he might be the first one gone. I mean, wow, Kansas City, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Minnesota. They're 4 of the best defenses in football.
I know.
It's going to be a rough stretch for that team. I like the Colts. They upgraded at quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
They're another team that had a lot of injuries last year. One of the best offensive lines in football is definitely top 10 last year. So in the trenches, they're strong. Great defensive line, great coaching. Watch out for the Colts there.
Yeah.
Win that division.
And their win total, I think, is 8.5.
Yeah, it's short. It's short. So you can get them plus 140 still to win the division. So you're getting plus money. Obviously, everyone's going to be on the Titans bandwagon. I think that's going to, slow down a little bit. But yeah, the Colts at plus money to win the division. I think it's a great bet. Yeah, like you said, the total's what, 8.5.
8.5.
The Titans are both 8.5. I think the Texans are what, 7.5. Harrison.
8. I'm looking at 8. Maybe it's gone down.
I would go under 8 for all the cheesesteaks in Philly on there.
Now, you got our good buddy, we just had him on, the Play Action Reel, says Texans 7-9 at best. Are they? They're not going to be. They're not going to be over 500.
No. They'll be lucky to win 7 games.
Well, yeah. I mean, you think about that division, Tony. I mean, Indianapolis, like Philly Godfather just said, and then you got Tennessee is still a good team.
No, I understand that. I understand that. But I mean, it's not like the cupboard is bare in Houston.
No, it's not bare.
I mean, they lost their wide receiver too. He's big.
Yeah.
It's just
Now,
it's
Harry,
a tough schedule. It's tough all around for them.
Now, Harry and I have not even released the Eagles schedule, even though everybody calls us homers. You know, looking at the numbers.
9.5 is the win total.
9.5
for the Eagles. Yeah.
Do they win 10 games?
It's tough. It's right there, 9 or 10 games. I think they're plus 140 to win the division. The Cowboys obviously are favored, but the Cowboys got a rough stretch to start off the season.
They do.
They could very well start off 0-3, and you know what happens to teams that start off 0-3, 75% of the time they don't make the playoffs. So, 10 wins is going to be tough. I think the Giants got a little better. Even the Redskins got a little better. The Redskins were, I think, the second most injured team in football. They got one of the best defensive lines in the NFL. Now, their offensive line is real shaky. But if they can secure up that offensive line, that team could win 6, maybe 7 tops, games this year. But the Cowboys, I mean, like you said, whoever starts off slow is in trouble this year.
Dallas starts at the Rams, then they have Atlanta, then at Seattle. Later in the year, they go at Baltimore, at Minnesota. Those are tough games. But they get San Francisco and Pittsburgh at home.
Yeah, but, I mean, how strong is the home field going to be if you ain't got no fans in the stands either?
Yeah, that's an interesting aspect.
You're absolutely right about that. Although in Dallas, the fans are, like, chilling anyway, man. You know what I mean? It's not like, listen, they get a lot of people in there, but it's not like one of those environments where you're afraid to go in there.
But like Seattle. Think about Seattle. That's a
intimidating.
home field advantage.
Kansas City's intimidating.
Yes.
But Dallas Buffalo's
Yeah.
intimidating. New England even. Not anymore they won't be, but they used to be. But you're right. You go into Dallas, and I've been in that stadium. It's an unbelievable mecca.
Oh, yeah.
But there's a lot of fans just chilling. They're not even paying attention to the game, man.
Yeah, so there's definitely going to be a drop-off at some of these teams who have the stronger home field advantage, like you said, like the Seahawks. Teams in cold weather, I think they might still maintain some of that advantage late, in the season, down the stretch. The Buffaloes, the Green Bay Packers, the frozen tundra, Lambeau Field. So it's still going to be a tough place to play, even if the fans ain't there, because if you're a warm weather team going to cold weather, you're in for a rude awakening.
The Eagles go there in early December, I believe.
Yes, they
Green
do.
Bay.
Yes, they do. And I was saying that's what I wanted to see. It's going to be December 6th, Harry.
Yeah.
Eagles and it won't be frozen tundra. It'll be beautiful. Just the way football is supposed to be, Harry.
But think about that, Philly Godfather and Tony. Like, if you have a Green Bay environment late December, division game, the Bears come in there, and it's snowing in Lambeau, and there's 10,000 people sitting like 6, seats apart from one another. How weird would that be?
It'll be very weird. It's going to be hard to handicap, too, because, usually add 3 points. Seattle, sometimes we'd add as much as 4.5 points to our numbers. So there's definitely going to be a drop-off on a lot of these teams at home. Dome teams, I mean, all the noise-level teams, the Atlanta Falcons, the Minnesota Vikings, teams in domes.
They'll pipe in crowd noise.
Yeah, they'll pipe it in.
It'll be like a sitcom.
Who was
the laugh line?
Wait a minute, who was the coach? Who was the coach
track.
that suggested? Oh, I think it was Mike Mayock that suggested that they pipe in crowd noises with speakers. Oh, no, it was in baseball. One of the baseball managers said,
baseball?
Yeah, I think it was, the Phillies' new manager.
Oh,
he was
Girardi.
saying in baseball, they have to pipe in crowd noise because then you'll hear everything in the dugouts.
That's true. He did say that the other day. Yeah.
Said if you don't have some kind of crowd noise in baseball games, the microphones are going to pick up everything that's being yelled in the dugouts, the profanities, the yelling at the umpires.
Then Houston won't have to bang on a trash
Exactly.
can.
They can just hear it. They can call it right out. Exactly right, Harry.
All the savages will be out.
Savages. Now, let me ask you this, because everybody's got the odds on every single game, Philly Godfather, and obviously these lines are going to change. For example, I'm looking at the Eagles' schedule here. 5.5-point favorites in Washington for the opener, and the Eagles are 8-point favorites over the Bengals in Week 3 here. What's the likelihood of any of those lines staying the same? And certainly, as we get into the season, the later games are going to change exponentially, right? So can you bet these numbers now as a future bet on games that are going to be played later in the season? Can you lock those in?
Yeah, you can lock them in, but there's for smaller limits.
There's limits.
Bookmakers don't want to get killed. You know what I mean? So the lines are constantly moving. It's a market like any other market. It's always fluctuating, depending on information that keeps filtering in, whether this guy's banged up or that guy's not hurt or, whatever the information is. So, yeah, you can lock it in, but you can't really just bury a game or, unload on it.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, you can get down a couple bucks.
A couple bucks.
Now, Harry, you're looking ahead. Anything jump at you and say, I got to jump on that right now. I got to jump on that game.
What, as far as I'm looking more at totals right now.
Totals.
Not, the totals.
Win totals for the season.
Win totals for the season.
Is there any number of win totals, Harry and Philly Godfather, that looks wrong to you and you can say, hey, Vegas made a mistake, I'm jumping on that now?
I think New England at 9. I don't like that team with that offense.
That's a high number, but it is Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
And his defense was forgazed last year. It wasn't real. Early in the season, it looked great, and then they played 3 teams with top 10 offenses, and they went 1-2. And then this year, out the gate, I think 4 of the first 6 games are against teams who have a projected top 10 in offense this year. So they're going to have a tough time from the start as well. That 9, it's going to be tough to get there for Bill this year.
Now, of course, we have UFC this weekend. I know you do workouts. Are you into the UFC game? Are you going to have action on UFC 249 down there in Jacksonville on Saturday night?
Well, I don't handicap it, but I got one guy on our website, MMA Odds. He was the first guy who came out with the UFC lines. He's the originator. He was offshore for 20 years. Vegas copied his line on all the UFC fighters. He's got information going back since day one. And that's the guy that I ask. You can't be great at everything, and you can't spread yourself too thin. So anytime I need some information on UFC, anything I get, I'll give it out on Twitter for free.
Now that's not the guy that I met down there in South Beach with you. That was the other guy.
No,
that's the 8 ball.
Wheels. Yeah, no, that's Piggy. That's Piggy.
Oh, Piggy.
Okay.
Yeah, Piggy, that's right.
I can't keep track.
I know, I can't keep track of the 8 ball,
The 8
Piggy.
ball.
Who are some of the other guys in the
Sheep?
The Sheep.
He's
Sheep's world renowned.
He's the OG.
He's the most famous guy of everybody.
Yeah, he's the OG.
It's better than my nickname, which is the Mush.
Oh, the Mush.
The Mush.
But there's a lot of mushes out there.
And
It's not just you.
There's the Seal, right?
Yeah, there's Seal, there's Philly Seal, there's
the Rooster.
Boys, there's Tiger. As long as they don't call you Acid, because Acid is the worst name they can call you. Bush, you might win a couple bets, but Acid, you destroy everything.
Okay, good to know.
Even coronavirus.
Exactly. Is it more deadly than the coronavirus, Acid?
When it comes to sports betting, absolutely.
Absolutely. That's all we're talking about here. Meanwhile,
oh, yeah, Kevin Cookie, 32, says Harry the Horse. Don't forget about
Harry
him.
the Horse.
Harry's given us some great horses over the years, man.
Which Harry? Harry Mays?
Not me.
Oh, I was going to say. Harry the Horse never gave you the superfecta in the Kentucky Derby last year.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
Incredible.
No, what's more incredible? I didn't bet it.
That's it.
That's the most incredible.
That's an outrage.
That's
an outrage.
That
That's
is an outrage. I should have just basically gone into hiding and gone to some deserted island, never to be heard or seen from again. And don't start saying, wish you would have done that, Tony. I know that's coming next.
Not Epstein's Island.
No. It's empty right now. I could go over there and start it all up again.
That's true.
Except I'd bring legal age women over there.
Right, exactly. Good.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, let's preface that you would make a few changes.
Yeah.
Well, exactly, yes.
we would change the protocols.
Yes.
And I wouldn't have a plane. I'd take everybody by boat.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you have to fly to, like, St. Thomas.
No Lolita Express.
No Lolita Express.
Okay.
No politicians invited.
Right.
Just regular guys. Like us. Regular guys who just like to party, Harry, and have some quality
except
cocktails.
no family members.
No family.
Yeah,
Except
no
our own
brothers.
Familia.
Yeah. The Bruno familia is fine, but no brothers.
Yeah, if Earl Thomas and his
can't bring
brother
his
want to
brother.
come. No can do, bro. No can do.
That's just skeevy.
So you got no. So what about now? Harry's been in on the Korean baseball, and he's also been in on ping pong or table tennis in Russia.
Yeah.
You've been cashing in on Harry's locks.
Well, that was I got it from him.
Oh, you did?
Oh, yeah.
No, I thought you got it from your own research, Harry.
No. I don't have ties to Russia.
You know?
Everybody wants me to have ties to Russia.
Not like Trump?
Yeah, right.
What's
But
the matter
speaking,
with
if
you?
anybody else would like to get it from the Philly Godfather, they can go on to thepHillyGodfather.com.
That's the website, and he's on
Yes.
Twitter releasing and firing all the time.
Yeah, I'm still giving out stuff. I gave out a future. I buried Buffalo to win the AFC at 14-1.
Yeah, I like that.
And to win the Super Bowl at 33-1. Now, you got to remember, when you're betting futures, it doesn't mean you feel 100% they're going to win it all.
It's value.
But you're expecting them to go deep, and you got an opportunity to hedge money and make some free money. So I like this Bills schedule. I like what they did. They picked up that kid out of Iowa in the second round. They got Stephon Diggs. I mean, going to Buffalo in that cold weather late in the season, if they win a division and get home field with that defense, it's going to be tough to beat them. All they got to do is win one game in the playoffs and then a championship, and you can make some free money.
No, I agree. So that's the one you released absolutely stone cold free at the Philly Godfather on Twitter. You can follow him. You're always releasing stuff on there. You know what I'm saying? Got to fire, Tom. Now, you have to be chomping at the bit, though, based on what's going on. I mean, with the fact that there hasn't been any legitimate things to bet on.
At first I was, but I've kind of adjusted. And you got to remember, we're reading 10, 12 hours a day, and sometimes we get burnt out. And it has, situation's horrible, right? But, a little time off has helped me. I'm starting to feel better. Now I'm ready to go. I feel like I'm 18 all over again. And as soon as the lines pop up, we'll be unloading every day.
Now, are you going to fire on this golf match coming up with Tiger and Peyton Manning against Phil and Tom Brady?
I'm not. You're the golf handicapper. I got a guy that's pretty sharp that I piggyback off of, and I leave my ego at the door. There's only so many things I can handicap. I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm not. So I call guys like you up, Harry. I call him up, and anytime you guys match, man, it usually wins.
Wait a minute. You've taken some of my information on some of the great Thursday night selections when I was on a 14-2 run last year.
Oh, you were killing it, Don. And I was telling everyone about you. You were killing it.
That was when we were at Screwballs.
Exactly. Do you know the legend of Mr. Monday Night runs deep, very, very deep, and long? Just ask the Earl Thomas and his brother.
Deep, and I think it's playable.
Yes, it is. So the other one somebody just posted on DraftKings right now, Saints plus 1,400. So you bet $100, you win in $1,500.
Well, you went $1,400. The $100 they give you back.
Yeah, they give you the $100. Maybe I'm saying that's part of the bet.
If you post up, but I mean, they got a shot. You got an agent, Drew Brees, but then again, Tom Brady's a little older than he is.
Yeah.
So, but that's a tough division. Falcons got better. Matt Rule. I mean, the Panthers had one of the best defensive lines in football last year. Their offensive line wasn't that great, but they're going to be a little better. Yeah, that's going to be a tough division.
I agree, but I'll put $100 if I can find $100. If I get my stimulus money, I'll take $100 of that, put it down on the Saints at plus 14. Come on, man, $1,400 on a $100 bet.
Yeah, and the schedule doesn't look that difficult. I mean, when you look at it, Tampa Bay's the first game of the season.
Yep.
Then they play the Vegas. Going to Vegas is never easy. Yeah.
Right.
And then at Green Bay, Detroit's supposed to be better this year. We went over 7.5 wins for the Lions.
They get the Niners
Chargers at
home.
Yeah. So, I mean, then they go to Tampa Bay at Tampa Bay. The Bears ain't scaring nobody. Atlanta's going to be slightly better. Then they play the Eagles late in the season. And
on the road.
Yeah, on the road.
They get Kansas City, Minnesota at home.
Yeah.
Now, you were all over San Francisco last year before anybody was even talking about them. I'm talking preseason, like this time of the year. Are you still sold on them? Because there's a Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't know about this kind of guy, this guy mentality in some circles out there. Do you think he hurt his brand or his hype, or do you think he's still legit and the play calling in the Super Bowl really hurt him?
I mean, he had a chance at the end. When he threw that in the end zone, he overthrew the wide receiver out. It's so tough to call. The nucleus of that team is so good. So he doesn't have to be a great quarterback for that team to win. Now, their win total's at 10.5. It's kind of high.
Yeah.
They were injured last year. They were, I think, the 6th or 7th most injured team in the NFL. When you look at the adjusted game loss stats, so they're still going to be solid. I mean, they're a good overall team. Like you said, the nucleus of the team's good. The coach is amazing, even though some people think he choked again in the Super Bowl. They're still going to be a solid team, but other teams got better, and it's going to be a tough NFC.
I don't know how they can overcome the loss of Matt Breida, though. I mean, that's one of those. That's one of those names that you loved him when he was there, and now you don't realize he's gone, and that could come back to hurt him. Harry, what do you think, Matt Breida?
I think they'll get over that loss.
Probably. No, I
Excellent.
love the kid. I'm not knocking the kid. And they had the guy that the Eagles dumped, and he became their best running back at one point down the stretch.
Yeah, well, what? 4 teams cut him. He ended up playing big, but they got a cupcake schedule too. I mean, they won it. They play Arizona, they play the Jets, and they play the Giants.
Mm-hmm. What about the Browns? Obviously, there's a lot of hype. There was a lot of hype last year. They didn't deliver. The Odell Beckham Jr. had an awful year, was injured a bit. Baker Mayfield, nobody really knows if he's really the guy. 8.5 win total. Their schedule looks pretty tough.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. It's Baltimore.
Yep.
Well, they play. I mean, Baltimore is. You can't look at the division.
At
obviously.
Dallas.
At Dallas, they play
at
the Colts.
Pittsburgh. Then.
At Pittsburgh. They play the Eagles.
Mm-hmm. They play the Eagles in Cleveland.
Yeah, but I mean they got some Ducks on there too. That's a tough. I mean, that's just tough.
At Tennessee.
Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh's defense is unreal. Baltimore's offense and defense is great. Baltimore's defense was one of the most injured defenses last year in the NFL, and we all know how great their offense was. So if they got everyone healthy, that team's really dangerous. Pittsburgh, they're going to be dangerous. It's a tough division.
It is.
You could tell the Philly Godfather's not feeling it completely yet, and he's getting into that. I'm going to start getting to the point where I'm so confident your head's going to explode. That's what I'm looking for. Once he goes out and gets the alpacas fed, and he plays a little basketball in his backyard with the kids, he's going to be ready. He's going to be ready to go. Locked and loaded, baby.
Well, the Browns got a lot of talent, and they got a much better coach. And they were in so many games last year. They actually gave so many games away. So you got to expect them to be a little bit better, but the schedule's tough.
He's tough, too. He's the Philly Godfather. At Philly Godfather on Twitter, at thephillygodfather.com on the intranet, the website. Good stuff, brother. We'll see you soon.